shoes in his pocket, overcoat in his hand. Tell me, baby, who was that man? I want to know who was that while ago. Well, when I came in, somebody ran out of my back door. Passing in an ashtray. I don't even smoke. What quit leading to my back door? I want to know who was that while ago. Well, when I came in, somebody ran out of my back door.
Ain't nothing like the blues. Nothing like the blues. In this hour, 3-time Grammy Award-winning blues legend Bobby Rush and 5-time Grammy-nominated singer, songwriter, and guitarist Kenny Wayne Shepherd on their new Muddy Waters-inspired blues project, Young Fashioned Ways. See what they did there? I love it. Young Fashioned Ways. We'll talk about how their love of music broke down the barriers of age and race for this soulful collaboration. We'll get to Bobby Rush here in just a second, getting him on the line, but Kenny Wayne Shepherd is already with us. Kenny Wayne Shepherd, how are you, sir?
I'm good, sir. Thank you for having us on the show today.
No, it's my honor to have you. Thank you for the time. Let me go right at this with you, man. I've been a fan of yours for a long time. How does a young white kid in Louisiana get turned on by the blues?
Well, I think part of it was growing up in Louisiana, but, you know, my dad was a disc jockey on the radio, and we went to every concert that came through town, and we had music playing 24/7, music of all kinds. But my very first concert that he ever took me to was to see Muddy Waters and John Lee Hooker when I was 3 years old, and I think that'll make anybody a blues fan.
Do you even recall that concert at all?
No, I don't. You know, 3 years old. That's a far stretch. But I know that I was there, and I know that set me down the course of my love for the blues.
Yeah. So fast forward past age 3 and tell me when you really get into this, when you start playing. Give me that backstory.
Well, you know, I started picking up guitar at about 4 or 5 years old, and I had these little toy acoustic guitars, these plastic guitars that you could get with S&H green stamps that my grandma used to get me. Mm-hmm. And I learned how to play my first notes on those guitars, but I saw Stevie Ray Vaughan for the first time when I was 7 years old. I got to meet him because of my dad. And that was a life-changing experience for me. And so I started begging for a real electric guitar after that. About 6 months later, I got my first electric, and then I just started woodshedding, as they say, and practicing. And by the age of 13, I got on stage for the first time at age 13 and sat in with this blues guy down in New Orleans named Brian Lee. Actually, I brought Brian Lee and Hubert Sumlin and some of those guys, and we played on your show several years back, and did a whole blues performance for that. And so Brian was the first guy that let me on stage when I was 13. I did my first demos at 14, put my band together at 15, and signed a major record contract at age 16.
I don't like putting folks on the spot, but I was about to ask you whether you recall doing my TV show back in the day. You and that band.
Oh, yeah.
Obviously, you recall it, and I'm so glad we're reunited once again here on the radio in this conversation.
Yes, sir.
Tell me about your dad. The apple obviously didn't fall far from the tree. You mentioned your dad was a BJ. How did your dad get in that space? How did he become a music lover?
Well, I think he grew up loving music, and I think he was just trying to figure out, you know, how to pursue his passion with music, but he didn't really play an instrument. So I think he found his niche with, you know, the radio, and he had a lot of, back then, you know, radio personalities were even bigger back then than they are today. You know, radio personalities were even bigger back then than they are today. So it was, you know, that was a high profile gig to have. And so he got his, that was a high profile gig to have. And so he got his start doing like a overnight, late night show at an R&B radio station. I wanted to sound like Muddy Waters. And I didn't. You know, it's like I could play guitar. When I was a kid, I could play guitar beyond my years, but when I opened my mouth to sing, I still sounded like a kid. Mm-hmm. And Muddy Waters sounded like a grown man, you know, and you could hear his life's experience in his singing. And the other thing I loved about him was that he wasn't one of these singers like, you know, with all these calisthenics and all these fancy trails and stuff. Muddy Waters told a story when he sang. And his style, vocal style, was very conversational. And I could really relate to that. I felt like not only was he singing to me, but he was talking to me at the same time, and it really spoke to me.
This new project is called Young Fashion Ways. It is inspired by Muddy Waters. It features 3-time Grammy Award-winning blues legend Bobby Rush and 5-time Grammy-nominated singer-songwriter guitarist Kenny Wayne Shepherd, who you've been listening to when we come forward. We'll bring Bobby Rush into this conversation as well. The legend is here on Tavis Smiley.
If you confuse, talk about 40 acres and a mule.
Hope, agency, dignity. This is Tavis Smiley.
Do you enjoy fatty foods, sweets, and alcohol? Who doesn't? Unfortunately, all those things put a lot of pressure on our liver. That's why pharmacist, best-selling author, and nutritional expert Sherry Torkos recommends Active Liver from New Nordic.
The liver is an incredible organ. It works non-stop to process toxins and chemicals from our food and drinks, medications we take, and even environmental exposures. As a health expert, I'm often asked how to support the liver's natural detoxification process and offset the effects of fatty foods, sugar, and alcohol. I recommend Active Liver by New Nordic. This gentle plant-based supplement is an effective way to support your liver's vital functions as well as your energy and overall well-being.
With its powerful blend of turmeric, milk thistle, and globe artichoke extract, Active Liver is the perfect way to keep your liver healthy and you feeling your best. Active Liver is available in both a delicious gummy or tablet. You can find Active Liver in the vitamin aisle at your local CVS or online at Amazon or NewNordicUSA.com.
Make a move into a home of your own.
And a consistent source of support in your life so you can break free from the outdated belief that seeking help is a sign of weakness. BetterHelp has experienced therapists ready to help you with challenges ranging from anxiety and depression to relationships and stress. It's convenient, too. You can join a session with the click of a button, helping you fit therapy into your busy life. You can even send your therapist a message anytime something comes up. Build your support system with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/ABCRadio today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/ABCRadio.
Joe Montana here. In my football days, I knew the importance of a strong defense. Now I'm sharing how you can help defend your health against pneumococcal pneumonia and invasive pneumococcal disease. Are you 50 or older like me? The CDC now recommends vaccination against pneumococcal disease. Even if you're healthy, your age puts you at increased risk and over 6 times greater risk of hospitalization with pneumococcal pneumonia than adults under 50. Schedule your appointment today at vaxassist.com.
Sponsored by Pfizer.
Helping to make you the most knowledgeable person in your circle of friends. This is Tavis Smiley.
I'm the first one up in the morning. I'm the last one to go to bed. Working all day from sun to sun. Got no place to lay my head. I'm a poor boy, long, long way from home. Like a bird with a broken wing. Like a window with a broken pane. I'm like a fisherman without a hole. I'm like a rat without a hole. See, I'm a poor boy. I'm a long, long way from home.
The song is called Long Way From Home. It features Bobby Rush, the legend, and Kenny Wayne Shepherd. Honored to have them both on this program. Bobby Rush, how are you, sir?
I'm doing great, man. I'm doing great. I feel good.
It's good to have you on this program. I'm honored for the opportunity to talk to you and Kenny together about this project. Tell me about this track, Long Way From Home, sir.
Man, I'm a poor boy and a long way from home. Man. I'm like a rat without a hole. Like a fish without a pole. Is that a poor boy?
That's a poor boy, man. That's a poor boy.
Yeah, that's a poor boy. And I'm a long way from home.
I love the lyrics. and not just on this track, but the thing about the blues, Kenny Wayne Shepherd and I were just talking a moment ago before you got on, Bobby. We were talking about his love for Muddy and how Muddy would tell a story, of course, in the songs that he sang, and that voice of his, that grown man voice. Muddy's voice just sort of pulls you in, but it's the storytelling that always works in the blues. Talk to me about the lyrics, the lyrics on the songs on this album, and how the storytelling is really what makes the blues resonate, Bobby Rush.
Well, the storytelling. Like Kenny was saying earlier, it seemed like Muddy Waters was talking to him. So what my plan is to tell a story that the story relate to anyone listen to it. It's for you. It's for whoever listens to it. It's for you, and that's what the blues is all about. Because if we're talking to you, then it's for you. Yeah, and that's what it's all about. That's what we were trying to do when I got in the studio, trying to write the kind of song that relates to Kenny, and hopefully that what relates to him will relate to the public and who we're trying to please and entertain.
Yep. So, Kenny, tell me more about how this project came to be in the first place.
Well, I have a blues festival called the Backroads Blues Festival I've been doing for a few years, and we asked Bobby to come and be our very special guest and come sit in with me and the band. And he came up and did a few songs with us, and now I've known about Bobby for a long time, and I respected him and his music for a long time, but we had never played together. And he came up on the stage, man, and he just took over, and, it was obvious to me within the first few notes that we had some real chemistry, and you can't fake chemistry. You can put two great people together, two talented people, but it doesn't mean they have the chemistry. You can't fake it, but it was there. So as soon as we got done with that show, we walked off the stage and we had a conversation about making an album together, and that's exactly what.
You gonna say something, Bobby?
Yeah, I was saying I had back in my mind, I wanted to record with Kenny or someone like this, but I never thought that he would be into what I was doing. Muddy Waters or Hollywood. I didn't know he was in love with the blues that hardly. Although I know he was playing the blues, but I could hear the Texas sound in him. I could hear the rock and roll. I could hear the acid kind of a sound. I didn't just think he would be in love with the blues. When I found out he was in love with the blues, he proved it by what he brought to the table. I'm so happy about this project.
Yep. So speaking of bringing stuff to the table, Kenny, tell me more about. So you decide you want to do a project with Bobby Rush. Then you start the process of what this thing is going to sound like, the content on the album. Tell me about that part of the process, Kenny.
Well, it's funny you should ask that question. I had no idea what we were actually going to do because I had been messaging Bobby, and he was responding to me about everything except what songs we were going to do. I was like, hey man, you want me to send you some music, or you want me to send you some lyric ideas? Maybe we could write some stuff, and he just did not respond to that. And so it was actually really interesting because it's the first time I ever went into the studio to make a record, and I had no idea the songs we were going to record. But I had complete faith in his ability and his talent and my ability and my talent that even not knowing what we were going to do, that we would come out with something special. And everything started very stripped down. He walked in, he had a stack of papers about 3 inches thick that were all lyrics to songs. And then I started throwing out music ideas, and everything just evolved in the studio on the spot. And a lot of the songs, everything started stripped down. And then we let the music tell us what it wanted. And then some of the songs grew into something bigger with a full band and even a horn section, and some of them stayed stripped down. And it kind of takes you on a musical journey of the different sounds of blues music. The totally stripped down original form of blues all the way up to the modern day all electric instruments, with the full blown horn section.
Yeah. Bobby Rush, I know you're a bad man, but is that how you normally do it? You just walk in the studio with a stack of lyrics?
No, I'm gonna tell you. But he didn't know I trusted him, his ability, his playing ability, and his production ability. And I had looked at some things that he was doing, recording. I watched how the record was recorded, and I listened to him play. He asked me one time, said, "You want me to send you a couple of things to play?" I said, "No, don't do that." I didn't respond to it because I knew he could do what he needed to do once he heard it. But I didn't know he had the production mind that he had until I saw him overdub on a couple of things that we were doing. I said, "No, this is it. This is it, man."
Yeah.
So, like you said, man, I had no idea. God just blessed us to put us together. Two guys had the chemistry together, saw each other, and respect each other, what we do and what we've done, what we plan to do. And it happened, man.
Yeah.
It happened.
Yeah. So, Kenny Wayne Shepherd, I'm going to put you on the spot here. I'm going to have you pick a track and tell me the backstory of how this track came to be once you all met in the studio. So you walk in with the equipment's there. You walk in, Bobby walks in. He's got a stack of lyrics. You can pick any track on the album. And I want you to tell me the backstory of how this song actually came to be. And once you tell me the backstory, then we're going to play that song for the audience. But just give me the story. Pick any one of them and tell me how it actually came to be in the studio.
Well, I would say, and I don't know if you played this one yet or not, but there's a song called Hey Baby, What Are We Gonna Do?
Okay.
And what was interesting about that is that Bobby had a show that he had to do in the middle of the recording session. So we had recorded for a couple days, and then he had to break away, and he had to go drive up to, across the whole state of Tennessee to go do his other show. And so I had one day in the studio where it was just me, and I was working on some of the tracks. And then I laid down this guitar track with this music that had kind of been rolling around in my head. And so I put down this track, and it's just really slide guitar, electric slide, and a foot tap. I mic'd up my foot, and I was tapping on this old Coca-Cola crate that they used on the original Al Green records. And I put this little track together, and then when Bobby came back, I played it for him. I said, hey, man, check this out. Tell me what you think. And he started digging through his bag of lyrics, man, and he just whipped out this sheet. And he came over and he started singing the lyrics to Hey Baby. And it was just like the perfect thing. And, he told me, he was like, man, he's like, you ain't got nothing that I can't find a lyric for. He's like, you just play it for me, and I got it. And I was like, yeah, man. And that was it.
Bobby's an OG, man. He said, you ain't got nothing I can't give you a lyric for. All right, I don't normally do it this way, but I asked Kenny Wayne Shepherd to tell me first how this song came to be. I'm going to let the whole song ride out. Here's the song, Hey Baby.
Girl, you got me so confused. Hey, baby. Girl, you got me. Why don't you tell me, baby. Baby, what are we going to do? One day you say you love me. One day you say you don't. Someday you say you will, girl. Sometime you won't. Hey, baby. You got me so confused. Why don't you tell me, baby. Baby, what are we gonna do? One day you wanna leave me, next day you wanna stay. One day you fuss and fight, next day things are okay. Hey baby, girl you got me so confused. Why don't you tell me, baby, baby, what are we gonna do?
So, Kenny, there are two questions I have about this track. I hate to interrupt, but I want to do it right now. This video is amazing. It's a lyric video. Tell me about the video to this song.
So, Bobby came over to my house. He came up in Nashville, and we got together at my house. And we were just sitting down in the basement in this little lounge area that I have. And these guys did some really good camera work, and I just wanted it to be more interesting than your usual lyric video, and I think it came out pretty good.
No, it came out amazingly well. Bobby, tell me about this harmonica you playing on this thing, man.
Well, that's what I do for a living, man. I'm a harmonica player, man. if I don't play the harp, I can't get paid, man. Come on.
No, man. But
I've been playing that for a long time. I looked up for many guys who played it. Lil Walter, Sonny Boy Williams, and many other guys. many other guys in the past, but I just take it and play it my way, do it my way, and I come up with a Bobby Rush, you know.
Yeah. How would you describe Little Walter on the harmonica? I mean, but I asked you about it. The first person you went to, I'm not surprised. The first name you mentioned was Little Walter. When you hear him all these years later, even what do you think of his gift?
I think he was a genius, man, and you could tell that he loved loved jazz.
Yeah.
He play a harmonica like you blow a horn, like a saxophone.
Yeah.
You know, and he loved that. In fact, since we mentioned about that, this past weekend they dedicated a street to him in his hometown, Marshfield, Louisiana. I was there myself and Buddy Guy 3 or 4 days ago to do that for him.
Oh, that's beautiful.
So I take my hat off to not only him. I just take my hat off to the guy who put me in the business that I listen to.
Yeah.
Now you got Kenny coming along who listens to all these guys, and you can hear all of the elements in his playing also. So we here to keep the blues alive, because I often say in all the interviews, the blues is the root and the mother of all music. If you don't like the blues, you probably don't like your mama.
I love it. I was hoping Bobby was going to get that line in, because that is his line. If you don't like the blues,
that's my line.
You probably don't like your mama. So Kenny Wayne Shepherd, you were saying earlier, you were talking about the slide, and we heard the slide on that track, Hey Mama, Hey Baby rather. We heard the slide on that track, Hey Baby. But you mentioned earlier that what happened with this project, I'm not sure it started this way, but it certainly ended this way, that there are all kinds of iterations of the blues on this project, Young Fashioned Ways. Was that the intent going in, or just happened coming out?
Well, that's really what happened coming out. I think the intent going in was just to make a great record, and I think we both thought originally that it was just going to be a very stripped-down album. But like I said a little earlier, we let the music tell us what it wanted. And so every song started with just me and Bobby sitting in a room together. And then once we would record a version of that song, we would listen back. And then, I was like, man, I hear this Al Green organ part on this one song. So then we got the OG coming in playing the Al Green stuff on there. And, so we have guitar, organ, harmonica, vocals. Sometimes we just have acoustic guitar and a vocal and a harmonica. Sometimes we got a piano, we got drums, there's no bass. Then we got bass, guitar, organ, we got the whole thing. And we added a horn section to 2 of the songs, too. So, it ended up taking you on a historical, instrumental journey of the various sounds of blues music, which is really cool.
Yeah. Tell me about the decision, Kenny, and what happens when you add a horn section to a blues track.
Yeah.
Well, there's been a lot of people over the years that have used horn sections very well. Like B.B. King's one of my favorites. He always, at one point in his career, he added a horn section, and that was it.
Yep.
So the day he died, he had a horn section. But, every time you add an instrument, you have to pay attention to what's going on. And everybody has to have an extra... It's a heightened awareness, because you don't want to step on each other. You want every instrument to stand on its own and to be able to be heard. So you don't want to it takes an extra skill set, and you got to come up with parts that complement the song and enhance the song and don't distract from what's actually happening in the song. So it complicates things, but it can elevate things as well.
Yeah. When we say this project, as I've said 3 or 4 times now, is Muddy Waters inspired, by that we mean what, Kenny?
Well, for me, this is like my moment, personally, where one of my favorite Muddy Waters albums, favorite blues album of all time, is called Hard Again. And it came out the year I was born, 1977, on Blue Sky Records. And Johnny Winter produced it and played guitar on it. And so Johnny was like the white dude, him and Bob Margolin, in Muddy's band with all these legendary musicians. And it's just like one of my favorite blues albums of all time. And so I kind of look at that as like, I'm the Johnny Winter and Bobby is the Muddy Waters of this project, and we're kind of continuing a little bit of history in something that was done, a tradition that was set forth between Johnny Winter and Muddy Waters.
The project is called Young Fashioned Ways. It features Bobby Rush and Kenny Wayne Shepherd. I let Kenny pick a track a moment ago. When we come forward, we'll let Bobby Rush pick a track and talk about that, give you some more sound from this amazing project. You're listening to Bobby Rush and Kenny Wayne Shepherd right now, and I'm glad about it, on Tavis Smiley.
What are we going to do? What are we going to do? are we going to do? What are we going to do? What are we going to do?
What's your quarrel with the world? You're listening to Tavis Smiley.
Progressive knows owning a home can be hard, but not always. Like when you're relaxing on your patio, enjoying a nice, quiet evening. So quiet. Except for the sound of the neighbor's party. Which you said you'd go to if you weren't busy. And your quiet night on the patio, that's not exactly busy, is it? Maybe you should just stay inside. At least Progressive's Home Quote Explorer lets you easily compare rates, so shopping for insurance is the easiest part of owning a home. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and third-party insurers. Comparison rates not available in all states or situations. Prices vary based on how you buy.
I'm Bree Wood with 4 things you should know with BIN News. Postmaster General Louis DeJoy announced his resignation effective Monday. He cited beneficial changes made, but acknowledged more work is needed. Deputy Postmaster General Doug Tolino will serve as interim head. Measles cases in a West Texas outbreak have surpassed last year's national total. Dr. Ben Bradley says the numbers likely underrepresent the true spread centered in a religious community avoiding modern health care. The Supreme Court will decide on a gerrymandering case involving Louisiana's congressional map, which includes 2 majority black districts for the first time in decades. Civil rights groups and Republicans are tentatively allied in defending the map. In return of the Mac singer, Mark Morrison was arrested in Florida for allegedly striking a restaurant manager in Palm Beach over an event he was planning with the venue. A witness separated them before Morrison's arrest. Get BIN News on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio.
The Crohn's and Colitis Foundation has been at the forefront of inflammatory bowel disease research and care for over 50 years. Learn more about research, education, and support at Crohn'sColitisFoundation.org.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
It was a season-changing moment for the USC women's basketball team and the NCAA women's tournament. USC All-American Juju Watkins fell to the floor Monday night midway through the first quarter, clutching her right knee. 2 hours later, an MRI exam revealed that the sophomore from Compton had torn her ACL and will need surgery. Watkins' season is over, and quite possibly USC's dreams of winning the national championship. Watkins' knee buckled as she was racing down court with the ball between 2 Mississippi State defenders. The leading candidate for Player of the Year honors had to be carried to the locker room. USC won the game to advance to the Sweet 16, but losing Watkins for the rest of the tournament and maybe part of next season is a devastating blow to the USC program and the city of Los Angeles. More on Watkins later today in my afternoon sports minute. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
We've got a lot to talk about.
On January 7th, 2025, the Eaton Canyon Fire scorched Altadena, torching everything in its path. Homes, wealth, and legacy burned in one night. But will Altadena rise from the ashes? I'm James Farg. On the Conversation Live Altadena Rising, we're chronicling the recovery, the resilience, and justice for the nation. This is the show of record. Unapologetically progressive. We're not blacking down. So join me, James Farr, on the Conversation Live Altadena Rising every Saturday at 10 a.m. Pacific with the rebroadcast on Sunday at noon.
Unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got your black. This is KBLA Talk 1580. Talk radio that's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. At Exquisite Family Mortuary, we know how overwhelming it can be planning a meaningful farewell for your loved one. Secure your peace of mind by calling Charlotte White at 323-577-5562. That's Charlotte White at 323-577-5562. From traditional funeral services to memorials to direct cremation, pre-needs, and more. Call Charlotte White at Exquisite Family Mortuary for Southern hospitality in Southern California. That's Charlotte White at 323-577-5562. Exquisite Family Mortuary is located nearby in Inglewood, California. Exquisite Family Mortuary, where your loved one becomes our loved one.
Paid for by government.com. Did you know the United States Mint has issued a new Morgan silver dollar coin in proof condition for the first time? Not only that, they are also minted in 99.9% pure silver for the first time ever in history. Coin experts are calling this an amazing opportunity for anyone that knows the enduring popularity of Morgans. But you must hurry. Only 400,000 of these legal tender silver dollars were issued. These first ever Morgan silver dollars are brand new with stunning mirror-like finish, minted by the iconic San Francisco Mint. Call now and you're guaranteed a new first ever 99.9% pure silver proof Morgan dollar. To learn more, call 1-800-973-9717. If you order now, you will receive a free coin collector bonus pack, a $25 value, free with every order. Call 1-800-973-9717 now to secure your new Morgan silver dollars before they are gone. That's 1-800-973-9717.
Made fresh daily in Leimert Park, Los Angeles, California. You're listening to Tavis Smiley.
Tavis Smiley and Bobby Rush and Kenny Wayne Shepherd together. They have put together an amazing blues project inspired by Muddy Waters. The project is called Young Fashioned Ways. I asked Kenny Wayne Shepherd earlier the track he wanted me to play. He talked about it, called Hey Baby. Now I asked Bobby Rush what track he wants to play. He's chosen Who Was That. Let me give you some Who Was That, and then we're going to talk about it.
I wanna know who was that while ago. I wanna know who was that while ago. You see, when I came in, somebody ran out of my back door. Had his shoes in his pocket, overcoat in his hand. Tell me, baby, who was that man? I want to know who was that while ago. Well, when I came in, somebody ran out of my back door. Ashes in an ashtray, I don't even smoke. What quit leading to my back door? I want to know who was that while ago. Well, when I came in, somebody ran out of my back door. When I went into the kitchen, the dishes in the sink, the wine cups on the table, and I don't even drink. I want to know who was that while ago. Well, when I came in, somebody ran out of my back door. Something wasn't right. It was all tore up like you bit it up. Little fight, I want to know who. Tell me who was that while ago. Well, when I came in, somebody ran out of my back door. I want to know who. Tell me what's going on. Tell me who.
I love it. I love it. Who was that? Who was that while ago? Who was that? Who was that? Hey, Bobby, did you ever find out? That's what I want to know. Did you find out who that was?
I thought Kenny was gonna tell me, but he didn't tell me nothing, man.
Man, I thought to jump in a little bit early, but that backbeat and that lyric was messing me up so much I had to let it ride, Bobby. I couldn't even step in, man. It was sounding so good. It was sounding so good. We were talking earlier about you walking into the studio, as Kenny said, with a 3-inch stack of lyrics. Tell me about your songwriting, Bobby.
Well, I've been writing all my life, and I got probably 200 or 300 songs that I never recorded in my catalog now.
Yeah.
I'm just waiting, hoping that I'll get a chance to do some of them before I leave this land. But I got plenty of songs. I'm always writing. Yeah. Every day I say I'm not going to write. That's the day I write 3 or 4 songs.
But the way you tell that story in that song, Bobby, tell me more about that song.
Well, I was thinking about myself. I think about life itself. When a man is in love or have someone in your life, where's a woman I mean, and you suspect someone is tipping around, but yet the girl is telling a lie so clearly makes you look like it sound like the truth, Yeah. But I just asked her, baby, who was that a while ago? I don't drink. You got ashes in the ashtray, and I don't smoke. Yeah, I see two wine glasses on the table, and they still full of. Baby, what is it? Who was that?
Yeah.
And I can see footprint on my carpet leading to my back door. Yeah.
I love it. Who was that a while ago?
Yeah, that's a question.
I love it, man.
That's a question.
No, that's a good one. That's a good one, Bobby Rush. That's a good one. So Kenny Wayne Shepherd, I was thinking a moment ago. It is a wonder in some ways that you have made it in this business. Your talent notwithstanding, but you come on the scene as this young white boy with long hair. And yet here you are now, moving into iconic status, sir. What say you about how you pulled that off?
Well, I feel blessed. I mean, I really had a lot against me, if you want to be honest about it. It's like, I signed my record deal at 16. I'm a white kid playing blues music. I don't sing. I only play guitar, but I'm the namesake of the band. It's like all these things were kind of against me. And, I came along about 5 years after Stevie Ray Vaughan had passed away, and nobody had really kind of come in that had been welcome to fill the big void that was left by him. And so, I really didn't know if they were going to accept a teenager coming in trying to do this kind of music, And so, anyways, I was very fortunate. My first album came out, the first song ran up the rock and roll charts, and it was a very blues heavy song. But, then I built an audience that embraced me very on, and they've been with me now for over 30 years, and that's the beauty of doing this music. See, I never wanted to be a pop star, because a lot of times you start chasing that dream and you're one and done, you got 5 minutes of fame, but this music is timeless, and this is the kind of fan base that you build of fans that are with you for your entire career, because once you become a blues fan, you're a fan for life.
Yeah. How did you, I want to phrase this the right way, because you're 16 and you get this record deal signed, and because you're a young white kid with long hair, you look nothing like a blues player. You don't really fit the profile, if there is in fact a profile. But you knew this, obviously. So was there a particular approach that you had that you thought would work for how you wanted to present your sound? Does that make sense, Kenny?
Well, I made the music that I felt inspired to make, and that's all I've ever done, right? And so the recipe for me has always been to have blues as the foundation of my music. But then I take from all those other genres that I told you earlier that I grew up listening to, whether it's rock and roll or it's a little country or it's R&B or whatever, and I take a little bit of all that stuff and I throw it together. And then I make music, where the foundation is the blues, but then I try and push it into different directions to try and create something that sounds current and maybe, different. And so I knew that, it's why I didn't sing. I knew that when I opened my mouth, I didn't sound like Muddy Waters. I wanted to sound like him, but I knew I didn't. So that's why I didn't sing, because I knew that I wasn't up to that task. So I also never ventured down a path of trying to do music or create music that I didn't feel like I could do a legitimate job of doing it.
Mm-hmm.
And so I have a history in my career of doing traditional blues projects. You know, the 10 Days Out Blues from the Backroads documentary where we came and saw you before with that.
Mm-hmm.
I did a blues cover album, you know, which was like the soundtrack of my childhood called Going Home, and doing this thing with Bobby Rush. But, you know, I don't tread into territory that I don't feel confident about. And so I'm not going. That's why when we did this record, I was like, I'm not singing on this record. You're not going to hear my voice backed up against his voice on a blues album. You know what I mean?
I love Kenny Wayne. You said, man, I don't tread in the territory. you got to know your lane, man. You got to know your lane, and that's why Kenny Wayne Shepherd is all that and then some. I love this project called Young Fashion Waves with Bobby Rush and Kenny Wayne Shepherd. More with them when we come forward on Tavis Smiley.
I want to know, baby. I want to know right now who was that while ago.
Interrogating and unpacking. That's what we do around here. You're listening to Tavis Smiley.
We ask seniors how to prevent Medicare scams.
My best advice, if you get a phone call, do not talk to the person. These people are well trained. Don't talk to them.
They don't know me. They're just trying to scam me.
Don't be fooled. Hang up. Just hang up.
Never give out your Medicare number.
They want to get your number, put in a false claim.
If I get a call from someone, I don't pick up the phone. And should I pick up the phone and they ask for information, then I hang up.
How do you detect Medicare fraud?
Just like I check my credit card statements, I check my Medicare statements monthly.
Scammers can get a hold of your number, order medical devices through your account, and you're not even going to know about it if you don't look at your statement. Check your statement every month.
If you get your statement and you see something that you know you did not have done, you report it.
Call your Senior Medicare Patrol.
To report Medicare fraud, call the Senior Medicare Patrol at 855-613-7080.
It's been said that when someone you love has Parkinson's, you have Parkinson's.
The Parkinson's Foundation knows that the disease doesn't just affect the diagnosed. It affects everyone who supports and helps care for them.
If you have questions, the Parkinson's Foundation has answers.
We can help you understand the disease
and give you tips for living a better life.
Find your answers at parkinson.org or call 1-800-473-4636. The Parkinson's Foundation. Better lives together.
The revolution will not be televised.
What's up? It is Killer Mike, also known as Michael Render, and I'm encouraging you to listen to more, not less, of Truth Time with Dr. Cornel West and Senator Nina Turner on KBLA Talk 1580.
This is an ad by BetterHelp. Think about your mentors and idols, the people who inspire you the most. While it may look like they have all the answers, they don't. But they do know when to ask questions and seek the support they need. In a world that glorifies hyper-independence, it's easy to forget that we're all better with a support system. Therapy is a great way to find a consistent source of support in your life, so you can break free from the outdated belief that seeking help is a sign of weakness. BetterHelp has experienced therapists ready to help you with challenges ranging from anxiety and depression to relationships and stress. It's convenient, too. You can join a session with the click of a button, helping you fit therapy into your busy life. You can even send your therapist a message anytime something comes up. Build your support system with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/ABCRadio today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/ABCRadio.
Let's get back to more of this rich dialogue with Tavis Smiley.
She my pride and joy.
So Kenny Wayne Shepherd, you mentioned Stevie Ray Vaughan a couple of times, and I couldn't resist. I'm a big Stevie Ray Vaughan fan. Tell me what it was like all those years ago now, 30 years ago, coming on the scene after the death of Stevie Ray Vaughan, a great white blues guitarist.
Well, he left a huge mark, on the music and the industry, and he was such a big loss for all of us. So, and he was like, he lit the fire in me. When I saw him play when I was 7 years old, that was the spark that lit the fire in me to play the way that I play. And so I don't shy away from the fact that he was a big influence on me. Some people try and avoid talking about it because so many people were quick to label you a Stevie Ray Vaughan wannabe or a Stevie Ray Vaughan clone. But I thought, I owe it to him to tell people that if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing. And so he was incredible, man.
Turn it up, Miles. Stevie Ray Vaughan. That's Stevie Ray Vaughan. My remaining moments with Bobby Rush and Kenny Wayne Shepherd talking about their new project, Young Fashion Waves, when we come forward on Tavis Smiley.
For all the freedom-loving folk, this is Tavis Smiley.
I feel like freedom.
If you're like me, 60 and retired, making ends meet, especially here at the supermarket and drugstore, is tough. I'm so blessed to have found benefitscheckup.org. It's a free and confidential website from the National Council on Aging that can utilities and more. Maybe it can help you. benefitscheckup.org.
You know where you want to go in life, and City National Bank can help. City National knows the dedication it takes to build your vision for the future into a reality, and our team is here for you. We have a wide range of options to help, from personal savings accounts to interest-bearing money market savings accounts and more, all designed to help you get where you want to go. City National, here for every stage of the journey. Learn more at cnb.com. City National Bank is a subsidiary of Royal Bank of Canada, member FDIC.
Hey there, Los Angeles. This is James Lucky Jr., publisher and editor of Los Angeles News Observer. Are you hungry for news that matters to you and the African-American communities of Los Angeles? Well, buckle up, because we got the scoop you've been craving. Stay in the know and never miss a beat with our free weekly publications conveniently available near you. Or hop on the digital wave and become an exclusive subscriber at OGNSC.com. Don't forget to join the party on Instagram and Twitter at OGNSCINC for behind-the-scenes access and sizzling updates. No more FOMO. Let's stay informed, connected, and empowered together.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 reminds you that we keep us safe. The Live Your Life organization mentors young women, helping them break negative mindsets and see beyond their surroundings. Through career exposure and hands-on training, they're encouraged to think big, stay focused, and make positive choices. Founded by Nikisha, Mama Boo Smith, who transformed her life to become a community leader. Live Your Life is changing lives, but they need your help. They're raising funds to keep their new building open and expand their programs. Your donations will support food, clothes, hygiene products, and holiday giveaways. Visit liveyourlife32.com. That's LiveYourLife32.com to help today. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Small businesses are the heart of America.
But you don't have to go it alone. As the nation's largest nonprofit resource of expert business mentoring, SCORE has helped millions of entrepreneurs build their businesses for free. Get the connections, education, and guidance you need with SCORE. We're ready to help. Find a mentor today at SCORE.org.
Sometimes you fail to fit in. We're okay with that. You're inside the Tavis Smiley Show.
My baby told me a few nights ago, she said, I'm gonna leave you, Bobby Rush, because I don't love you no more. It hurt me so bad, so bad, so bad. When she said to me what she said. Well, she might well shot me to hell with a pistol. Cause what you said killed me just a dead.
Bobby Rush has had a rough week. First of all, he was looking for who was that. and then that's what she said. I'm leaving you, Bobby Rush.
Yeah, but she told me the child ain't look like me.
Yeah. Yeah, Bobby Rush is having a rough week. So Bobby Rush and Kenny Wayne Shepherd are embarking on a 29-city tour starting April the 25th, I believe, in Kansas City. Additional dates to be announced. You ready for this tour, Bobby Rush?
I'm ready for it, man. I can't wait. I wish it was today. I'm ready.
Kenny Wayne Shepherd, after all these years of doing it, what is the joy, particularly in being a blues artist and being in front of a live audience?
Well, it's the give and take between the musicians on stage and the audience, because there's an energy exchange that happens. And when we feel the energy from them, that we give them even more, and it just goes back and forth. And I live for those spontaneous moments, and that's what the blues is all about. It's just like playing the music and seeing what happens. And so I'm looking forward to some spontaneous moments with Mr. Bobby Rush on this tour.
Speaking of spontaneous moments, that's what this project was. Y'all walked into a studio, didn't know what you were going to do, and the spontaneity just sort of took over. I assume that Kenny Wayne Shepherd, you first, I'll close with Bobby Rush. I assume you were happy with the spontaneity y'all created, Kenny, in the studio.
I'm very happy with this album. I think this album stands on its own. I think if you're looking for a blues album in today's world that is new, and it's fresh, and it's the real deal, then you need not look any further.
I love it. Bobby Rush, how would you situate this project in your body of work?
My best work and best invention in my life.
Wow.
This is the best one I ever had because Ken is so warm. Let me add this to this. He's so warm that he's so down to earth. He's never big-headed about anything. He's just professional about what he do, and I appreciate that. This is a great thing for me.
Yeah, well, I know something what Bobby Rush just said. This is not my first time talking to Kenny Wayne Shepherd, and I loved it in past years, and I've loved this conversation today. Bobby Rush and Kenny Wayne Shepherd are together a new project called Young Fashion Ways. Their tour starts April the 25th, 29-city tour. They start in Kansas City, and they'll go from there. Bobby Rush, I've enjoyed this immensely, sir. You are a legend. I'm honored to be in your presence. Thank you for your time, sir.
Well, thank you for having us.
And Kenny Wayne Shepherd, what a great delight to be connected with you again all these years later. You continue to do great work, man. I'm honored for this conversation. Thank you, Kenny Wayne Shepherd.
Thank you. Thank you for having us on the show.
My great honor. Just like that, 3 hours gone. Back here tomorrow, Lord willing, to do it all over again. Until tomorrow, thanks for listening to Tavis Smiley. And as always, keep the faith.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Bree Wood with 4 Things You Should Know with BIN News. Postmaster General Louis DeJoy announced his resignation effective Monday. He cited beneficial changes made, but acknowledged more work is needed. Deputy Postmaster General Doug Tolino will serve as interim head.